Good morning, kings and queens. Welcome back to the kingdom. I'm your host, Karen Lovejoy, and this is Welcome to the Kingdom, chicken soup for the Gen Z soul. Today, we have a very exciting episode. We're talking about friendship, what it means to be a friend, and what it means for you to grow into adulthood and kind of manage the friendships that you have, new ones, old ones, fading ones, growing ones. It's going to change and it's going to look differently. And we're here to talk about it. I've been going on TikTok live every Monday at 10:30 a.m. And usually when I'm on live, I get many comments about like advice and things. And I found that a reoccurring theme was adult friendships. It's like nobody wants to be friends these days. Yeah, so many questions about that. And I was like, you know what, might as well talk about it. I actually got the brilliant idea to have my friend on so we can also talk about friendships, but that'll be another episode. In this episode, I'm going to be telling you my relationship with friendships, what I'm learning about friendships and how to be a friend as a 25-year-old, and answering some of you guys' questions and dilemmas you have about friendships. So we're going to have kind of like 3 segments. But before that, you know what we do here. What we're welcoming and exiling. I have been waiting for today's episode, you guys, because I cannot wait to exile this thing. And I told her being my sister, I told my sister that I would be airing her out today in this episode. So, hi, Clara. I know you're listening to this. Guys, I just had to air her out. She is so pretty, gorgeous body, model, stunning skin, stunning heart. So, God had to give her some kind of flaw. Tell me why I'm in the theater watching the Michael Jackson movie. I looked down on my phone because I was getting distracted a lot during that movie. I'm not the biggest Michael Jackson fan, so I was on my phone quite a lot. I know that's taboo. I like saw myself doing it and I was like, Karen, this is so annoying. You're on your phone during the movie. That's so rude. So I did try to watch it and I liked it. I loved the Michael Jackson movie. Oh, I actually did want to talk about the Michael Jackson movie. Maybe another episode, but I did love it. My favorite part of the whole thing was one line he said that really stuck with me. Actually, let's talk about the Michael movie for just a second. I went on Google. I saw that it had a 39% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. And I just knew that you guys were hating because I think this is the best we were ever gonna get. Jafar Jackson, Michael Jackson's nephew, he's the one that's playing Michael in this movie. If you've been under a rock, he killed it. He was acting and singing and dancing his butt off. So I don't know what anybody's complaining about. I think this is the best we're gonna get, and it was pretty dang good. It was pretty dang good. Back to why we're exiling Clara. We're not exiling her. We're exiling a text message that she sent me. I just wish I never saw this text message, okay? I want to erase this text message from my memory. I'm in the theater watching the Michael movie on my phone. I look down. Clara sends me a text. I think she called me, and so I responded at the theater. She goes, I just realized OVO stands for October's Very Own. That's so crazy. ... You're joking. That was for me. She goes, I'm being so dead ass, it hurts. I said, I'm outing you. She goes, no. And then proceeds to send me the prettiest selfies I've ever seen, known to man. She's like, which order? She just casually drops that in my inbox. Anyway, I just realized OVO stands for October's Very Own. What else did you think it stood for? What did you think we were saying this whole time? Now I'm very confused. She needs to explain herself. So I just wanted to exile that. I refuse to believe that text message is real. What else are we exiling? Guys, I got my first eye bag. I know. Ever since I was a little girl watching Bethany Moda, My Life as Ava, all of that, their morning routines, it'd be like, so yeah, I do this for my eye bags, and my eye bags are designer. I never actually knew what an eye bag was. I didn't know what they were talking about. And so I always referred to like this sunken part of my eye as like eye bag. That's not the eye bag they're talking about. I woke up one morning after a couple sleepless nights because I haven't been sleeping and I need to be sleeping. I wake up, I go to the mirror, the shock and the horror as I see a nice little puffy socket emerging from my right under eye. A nice little bubble of like skin plump. And I gasped. I said, this is an eye bag. This is the eye bag you guys were talking about? I've never had one in my life. And I was pretending to know what it was to fit in. And now that I do, I don't want it. My eye bags are not designer. I don't want it. So let me know how you guys get rid of eye bags. I've just resorted myself to actually getting 8 hours of sleep, which is one thing we're welcoming. A nice little transition into what we're welcoming. 8 hours of sleep, because I can't do the 6 hours anymore. It's not working for my skin. I'm also welcoming morning affirmations, looking in the mirror and saying, you know what? Maybe my eye bags are a designer. Maybe today I'm going to embrace them. I was on live stream this morning and it was actually so fun because Jowoda on TikTok, Mami Ajwa, she joined my TikTok live. And so we were live for like almost 2 hours, just chopping it up. And I was on live and someone commented like, do you ever wake up one day and realize that you're Karen Lovejoy? Like, do you ever look in the mirror and tell yourself like, wow, I'm Karen Lovejoy? And I was like, what? Really? You think that of me? Like, that's what I think of like Rihanna. You know what I mean? So it's like, whoa, like I can't believe someone out there thinks of me like that. Okay, let me start telling myself that I'm Karen Lovejoy. Hello? Excuse me? Do you know how big of a power move that is? I think I actually just realized who I was in that comment. So thank you to the commenter if she's watching this. But it really altered my brain chemistry. So we're welcoming that thought. We're welcoming that thought, looking at ourselves in the mirror every morning and saying, you know what? Yeah, I am that girl. List all of your accomplishments. List all the things that you're doing right. All of your wins and say, yes, I am her. I am Karen Lovejoy. 705-star ratings on my podcast. Let's talk about it. 200,000 downloads. Let's talk about it. This is fun. It's fun to hype yourself up. So that's what we're welcoming and exiling. All right, friendships. Boom. I had a lot of friends growing up. I grew up in Tema. I went to Fountainhead Christian School. I was surrounded by so much love. I think when you are young, especially being young from Ghana, there was so much love around me. No matter how many traumatic incidences that occurred to me at a young age, I think that I still had such a fun time. I was surrounded by love. Friendship came very easily to me. I remember, if I think back to my younger years, you knew what to do instinctively. Like there was a code of conduct. And you knew how to behave. And maybe it might have been isolating at times. Maybe you didn't understand why someone did this and someone did that, but you just kind of went with the flow. So I remember being very comfortable with friendships. And then I moved to America. I think that rattled my sense of self a little bit too. I think I was also very secure as a child. I was very affirmed and spoken into. Like I was very loved. People thought I was very smart. People thought I was eloquent. People thought I was funny and cute and everybody loved me. Coming to America, moving from Accra to suburban Massachusetts, I think we need to give the whitewashed black girls a little bit of slack, if I do say so myself. And I really don't like the term whitewashed because I think it's derogatory. It puts like a band-aid on like a bigger wound. Like it's just a very kind of ignorant way to encompass something that's so complex into one word, just to kind of label it as something and chalk it up to that and never look into it. So I don't like that term because it's much more complex than that. And I think moving from Ghana, Accra to suburban Massachusetts, having to wrestle with identity and then having to go to college and be like, wait, I'm Ghanaian, but the way that I move and act feels different. And I'm being told that I'm acting white and looking or doing things that were white, but I was born and raised in Tema. I was born and raised in Accra, Ghana. So what was it? And it wasn't something I was doing on purpose, duh. So what was it? You know? And I think a lot of it has to do with one, being in a new environment and kind of being told that like there's something wrong with you. You're going everywhere and like you're getting told that there's something wrong with the way that you look. Like that your skin color is a bad thing. So I come from Ghana where we all love each other. The concept of being black is not a thing. I went to a private Christian school, so we would have the occasional white person in a class. And they would like have all the kids like flock to them. Everyone wanted to be their friend. So it was a very positive perception of white people. And then I come here to America and I realize, oh, their perception of black people is bad. Wait, but I'm only 11, right? So I'm like, wait, why is our perception of them so good and their perception of us is so bad? And then you're grappling with this, like, I didn't have to think twice about my skin, but now it's everywhere I go, it's being mentioned. I'm as dark as this, I'm as dark as that. The teacher turns off the lights for us to watch a movie. They say, oh, where's Karen? Okay, interesting. Some girl in my school one time saw my mom come into school and she was like, oh my gosh, she looks like a monkey. Excuse me? So I'm just like moving through this new world. People are telling rumors that like Africans are the ones that like bring diseases. And they're like whispering this while I'm standing there, like just trying to do my projects, just trying to do my, work assignments. They've put me in a group and everyone at the table is talking about how people moving from Africa is the reason why diseases spread. And they know that I just came from Africa. So it's a very deliberate conversation. Many, many, many instances like this. And you're starting to wonder that there's something wrong with you. I think that whole thing rattled my sense of self. And I think when your sense of self is rattled, you lose the affirmation that you grew up with. You lose the community and everything I grew up with. You start to find ways to like overcompensate, to maybe hide yourself, diminish yourself, but then also seek validation, like, and worth. It's just a very convoluted thing. So thriving sense of self, friendship, and community when I was young. And I come here and it's completely rattled, right? It's completely rattled. And I don't know what to do. And so then I'm kind of lost in this bubble. And I think I really started to gain clarity again on friendships and what it means to be a friend. And so I think right now I'm at a place where, well, one, I like myself again, which is something that was taken away from me. I wasn't allowed to like myself. I was told that the way that I looked was wrong and where I was from was wrong. You go to college and it's like, okay, because you grew up in this environment, the way that you act. Now the black people around you are telling you that the way that you act is wrong. And so you're just kind of like, it's a lose-lose situation. So because of that, I stopped liking myself. And I think I started wanting to be different. But I like myself again. I love myself. I think I'm so cool. And I've started to really just love me for who I am and not make excuses and not explain myself and not have to like think about just, the people pleasing, just finding worth in who I am and who God made me to be and standing in that power as well. And also just, being me. So, what I've come to realize being 25 about friendships is that we're complicating things. I think we're complicating things. I think it's more simple than that. So, we're going to talk about my simple philosophies on friendship, breaking it down to the bare minimum, just one sentence philosophies on what I think of friendships. One, what I will say, and I think the biggest one to understand, is that friendships ebb and flow. I think when we try to cling on to a version of a friendship that no longer makes sense, is sustainable, and this isn't to say like if you see your friend struggling, leave them. Or like if, I don't want this to take on like a very self-serving way, but genuinely like there's no bad intentions. The nature of the friendship has to look a different way for whatever reason there may be. I think that's okay. And I think when we try to like control friendships and morph them into some like to take the shape of what they once were, and it's not sustainable or it doesn't make sense for the stage of life we're in, it's okay to let go. When we try to force it into that, that's when we counter, I feel like, the most conflict. So friendships, they ebb and flow. Different seasons will look a different way. Like think about your parents and your grandparents, right? They make friends at every stage of their life. When they're young, when they move away, when they get married, when they have a kid, and then they meet their kids' parents. Then they go to college and then they meet their kids' parents there. And then maybe they retire and then they join a pickleball club and they meet friends there. Then friends at church and then they move to a different church. There's community will look different in every aspect, I believe, like of your life. As you grow and change, it's natural that the people in your life grow and change as well. So not everything is going to look the same all the time. And I think we should be okay with that. The second biggest thing is like in line with not forcing friendships to look a certain way, not forcing friendships, period. Like you will naturally feel a way towards somebody. Listen to that feeling. I think a lot of times we also counter conflict when we don't listen to our intuition and we just keep ignoring our intuition, or maybe something about this friendship doesn't feel easy or it doesn't feel fruitful or it doesn't feel like you guys naturally click. You leave the friendship or you leave the hangout feeling uneasy, down on yourself, anxious. You don't leave feeling excited and joyful and inspired. Listen to that feeling and go based off that. Like go based off of how they make you feel. And I know there's a different aspect to it where it's like, Jesus dined with the sinners. I love that. I love being around people who are different from me. Sue me. I love being around people who have a different perspective, even have a different outlook on life. Of course, the people closest to me, I can pray with, I can go to church with. They give me godly, sound advice. But there are also people around me that I love dearly that give me godly, sound advice and are not Christian. What I was trying to say with that is that naturally clicking with somebody goes beyond sharing a religion or sharing the same perspective or outlook on life or looking the same, having the same nationality, ethnicity. No, friendship goes beyond that. So you will find people you naturally click with. Listen to yourself. Listen to how you feel when you hang out with somebody. Listen to your body. Listen to your discernment as well. And you will know, because sometimes you just try to force things because maybe like they're in the same group or they're a mutual, or they go to the same church. That's a big one. That's a big one. Is just thinking that you will be friends with like everyone you go to church with. It's just not possible, because you still have to think about your personalities and your interests, and generally a natural desire to grow a bond. Do they have a natural desire to grow a bond with you? Is it mutual? Listen to that. Communication is something that I'm learning as well. How to communicate my feelings, how to say, like, I don't like this, or this didn't make me feel good. And I know that weren't your intentions, but this is how it made me feel. I've had to put on my big boy pants as a 25-year-old and be able to say that. Because if I can't say that to my friend, who can I say it to? You know? And so I'd rather say it to you. And I used to be very scared of confrontation. You know, last episode when I talked about being so people pleasing to the point that you become toxic, I definitely was that. Like, I just was so non-confrontational and was so like scared of having conversations that I would just talk to everybody else but the person who it was about. And it just led to my demise time and time again, because it never works out that way. So just be able to talk to them. And if you feel like you can't talk to them, then maybe that's not someone that you want to be friends with. If you feel like, oh, I can't talk to them because they won't understand, or like, then one, it shows me that you already have a perception of them, which you should be willing to challenge. Why is it that I don't want to bring this up to them? Why is it that I'm scared to confront them about this? Dig deeper. Is it because I think that they'll be uncomfortable? Okay, why do their comfort trump my comfort? Why isn't my comfort being thought of by me? Why must I put my comfort to the back burner to appease their comfort of not being uncomfortable for just a second, but they made you uncomfortable? So why can't you also think about your comfort and communicate your feelings? Communication is a big, big thing. And it doesn't even have to always be in conflict. Just like, hey, I saw this and I thought of you, and giving you a quick call while I'm on a walk, or making sure that we schedule like an hour FaceTime, like actual communication as well. Talking to your friends, letting them know about your life, what's been going on. And it's not everybody that you'll be texting every day. You might have a couple people that you text to on a daily basis. But some people you don't talk to for weeks, months, sometimes maybe even a year or two. And you chat it up and it feels like no time has passed. So those are also beautiful friendships to have. But yeah, communicate. Communicate with your friends. Don't be afraid to communicate your boundaries if you don't like something, or if something doesn't work for you, or think of yourself as well and compromise, because the assumption is that you're also compromising, right? You're also respecting their boundaries. You're also communicating with them. They're communicating with you, assuming that it's mutual. Another philosophy of mine is that you will change. Let yourself change. Just let yourself change. Don't be yourself down about changes. If a friend, it was fun to hang out with them in one point, and now there's a clear difference in maybe lifestyle or ideology, or just something that you choose to not surround yourself with because it's not edifying, and that you can't be a vessel in their lives as well. It's okay to let yourself change and grow out of it, and cheer them on, but not a close friendship too. Like, allow yourself to change and align yourself with people that you want to be around. The last thing I will say before I go into the Q&A is make a fuss about your friends. Creator said this. I think her name is Tana. Yes, Tar Mar. Her @ is Tar Mars. She made a video that was like, how to be a friend or something like that. Oh yeah, how to be a better friend. tips for healthy adult friendships. I loved that video. And in that video, she said, make a fuss about your friends. And I was like, that's such a good way to put it. But like, celebrate your friends. Like, they are a big deal. Companionship in your life is a big deal. Because in this world, life is so lonely when you do it alone. And so if you have friends, people who are willing to lend you their time, their sacrifice, their companionship, and all the things that come with them, whether it's wisdom, whether it's learning, whether it's just a friend, sometimes just somebody to sit and talk to, a listening ear is all you need. So friendships are so valuable. Even when you don't do anything, you just sit in each other's company and talk. It's so valuable because you just have a huge weight lifted off your shoulders when you can talk to your friends about things. And so I think making a fuss about them, like Tarmar said, celebrate them. Your friend just got a promotion, take her out to lunch. Your friend just moved into a new apartment, send her flowers. Your friend just fell sick, maybe cook them a meal. Share their work. Talk to people about them. You meet somebody who you think they would work great with, introduce them. Make a fuss about your friends. They are a big deal. Celebrate them, cheer them on, champion them. And they will do the same for you if they're your friends. And it's very important. And so these are my short philosophies on friendship. One last one I have here is that it is a two-way street after all. And on top of using discernment, also think, is this person the right friend for me? Because they're not choosing you. You also have to choose them. It's a two-way street. So one, am I choosing them? Are they choosing me back? Do I want to choose them? Do I want them to choose me? Who here isn't doing their portion? What does choosing look like? Celebrating you as well, cheering you on, lending a listening ear, helping you out, companionship, making time for you, speaking life into you. And my friends and I, we pray for each other. When I was having a crisis, a friend of mine sent me a long voicemail that was a prayer. I just texted her. I was like, I'm on my way to the emergency room. And the second she read that, she sends me a voice message just praying, like 4-minute prayer. So I listened to that while I was on the bed in the emergency room, and that was so nice. And then I listened to it in the middle of the night when Lucas and I had that middle of the night prayer session. Another friend of mine bought me hand warmers, and so many hand warmers, like the physical hand warmers and the electric ones. She bought me like 3 kinds. I had hand warmers for days. Friends cooked for me, brought me flowers, visited, just called in to check up on. So I think that's a friend. And sometimes your friends may be going through something. And that's where communication comes in, when they say, hey, like, I'm a little busy right now in this stage of my life, or I can't do this or I can't do that. I think communicating with them, and if you feel off, there's something that's bothering you, just say it. Hey, I noticed that this and this and this has been going on. Is everything okay? Hey, can we chat about, something that happened? Like, I just wanted to share my perspective. Or, hey, I'm sorry that I said this. Like, I didn't realize this and this and this and this. Just talk to each other. Talk to each other. You can go a long way when you talk to each other. And I know it's easier said than done, because I love to run away from my problems. Currently, I am running away from many problems. But I'll give you this advice, okay? Now we're going to go into our Q&A. I asked you guys on Instagram to send me questions or dilemmas or things you had when it comes to friendships. I got a lot of great ones, and so I'm going to read them. I also asked on YouTube. And so if you're not subscribed, subscribe to the YouTube. It's Welcome to the Kingdom. And then follow me on Instagram at WTTK Podcast. And that's where I'm going to be asking like advice, questions, and things like that. And I think I'll have an episode once a month where I'm answering something from you guys. I think that would be fun. Maybe not once a month. Don't hold me to it, but very regularly. Okay, one question. How do you stay intentional and connected with all your friends as an adult? You can't stay connected and intentional with all of your friends. Like, you can stay intentional. I think intentionality, as long as intentionality is there, friendship is there. Because intentionality goes a long way, even in romantic relationships. So I think the same goes for friendships. As long as you're intentional, what does intentionality look like? Communication, being considerate. Yeah, I think you can stay intentional, but connected, I don't know. There are people that I haven't spoken to in a long time. But I think what I do is that when I think of someone, I reach out to them, you know? So that's one way for me to stay connected. And I learned this from my mother-in-law, actually. She would always text me whenever she was thinking of me. And I was like, that makes me feel so loved. And so maybe I'll think of a friend that I haven't spoken to in a long, long time, and I'll text them, hey, how are you? Or I'll see a meme that reminds me of a friend that I haven't talked to in ages, but she would love the meme. I send it to them. Or I reach out to a friend, hey, haven't heard from you in a long time. Let's catch up. I find that a 1 hour long catch up, maybe even 30 minutes, every once in a while, like every couple months or something, especially with long distance friends that you guys know you're busy, but there's love there. That goes a long way. A nice long FaceTime or phone call goes a long way. Even voice messages back and forth. So just keeping a line of communication open, you know? They're not texting you and you're not responding. Like, that's not, Or they're trying to reach you or you're reaching them and they just don't respond. And that's a closed line of communication. So if you want to stay connected and intentional, I think keeping a line of communication open, knowing that they can always come to you and you can always come to them, celebrating them when you see, that they're accomplishing or doing something great. I love commenting on my friends' photos. Friends we haven't hung out. We may not have hung out in like years. And I just will comment hard eyes, hype you up. Because social media plays a big part in the way that we communicate, in the way that our friendships even look like. And so I think adapting with the times is knowing that, yeah, a like on a post, a comment on a post goes a long way. It shows that you still think of them. A DM, a slide, depending on the friendship, hop on the phone, do a FaceTime, something. Yeah, keep an open line of communication. Okay. Dealing with friends/mutuals that copy you. This is a really interesting one because the concept of copying is very interesting. And I think we're running into a copying epidemic when it comes to social media. I'm sorry, the 4 and the 5 girls, I don't like the copies. If you're not familiar, there's a girl group on TikTok and on Instagram, and they created a series called The 4 and the 5, the 4 girls in the 5 boroughs of New York City. And it's kind of like a docu-series about their lives. It blows up, it becomes a hit, people love it. And all of a sudden there's the 4 in the ATL and the 3 in whatever, the DMV. Like, no, I don't like that. I don't like that. So anyway, we have a copying epidemic, especially when someone originates an idea and then people start saying, oh, this is a trend. And then they start to do it. And it's like, no, it wasn't a trend. It was my idea and you're taking it. Like, intellectual property, like, needs to be held into higher regard. Anyway, that's not about friendships and friendships that copy you. Okay, friends and mutuals that copy you. I don't really believe that if you saw them as a friend, you would think that they were copying. Because anytime that I thought somebody was copying me, I realized that maybe I didn't see them as a friend. Because I don't think that I would ever look at a friend now and say that they're copying me. So if you think that a friend is copying you, then there's an underlying issue there, that something is wrong in this friendship. I don't know what is, but something doesn't feel right. And maybe listen to your gut, and you don't have to be friends. I know it's hard to sever ties, but a little distance wouldn't hurt, because if they're copying you, and it's I'm not saying it's a you problem. They may very well just be a weird person, because I have had people in my life that were very strange and would like undermine what I did, but then also try and do the exact same thing. And it really blew my mind because I was like, wait, what's going on? And so I've had many of those. I think right now there's not a friend that would do something that I would say, oh, they're copying me. I love my friends and I to match. We send each other links to the same shoes and the same skirts and the same dresses. We want to get the same things because we all have such good taste. So I wouldn't say any of my friends were copying me. So if you think that somebody's copying you, then they're not your friend. You also called them a mutual. So that means that you don't really see them as a friend. And if so, then don't be friends with them. Don't communicate with them. Don't hang out with them. Don't do anything with them. Would love you to hear your thoughts on interfaith friendships, especially as a West African. This is a really interesting question because there is so many Muslims in Ghana. And I'm Christian. And obviously, being in New York City, there's so many friendships around me. And West African too. There's so many West African Muslim countries and Christian countries. And so, or at least I feel like I was made to feel like I couldn't be friends with people who had a different religion. And I don't know, I think that's BS. I don't think that's okay. I don't think that the ideology that if somebody isn't Christian, they have nothing to offer you in a friendship, I think that ideology is whack. I actually hate it. It's disgusting to me. Because why would you ice somebody out because of their religion when Jesus himself was friends with all kinds of people? And you guys are saying, oh, he dined with the sinners. Like he just dined with the sinners. You don't even dine with anybody. You don't dine with anybody who looks different from you. You don't dine with anybody who thinks different from you. So you saying, oh, it's just dining. Dining is a friendship. What do you do when you have friends? You eat together. And you can't even do that. You can't even dine with somebody that has a different perspective. And you're supposed to be following Jesus, the one that dined with sinners, prostitutes, and tax collectors. Dined. So I think that you can have friends of anything. I think, obviously, I have friends who I go to for advice. I have friends who I say something a little risque, maybe something that I can't say to my Christian friend who is all like immediate prayer, which is you need that friend as well. But maybe I just want to say something that I feel like will be received differently, would resonate with somebody else. I have another friend for that. Maybe I want to talk about money. I have a friend for that. I want to talk about beauty. I go to a friend who has advice on makeup, on outfits. You can go to friends for different things. You shouldn't have one friend that's an end all be all. Friends serve many different purposes. So the idea that you can't have friends that have a different faith than you, I think it's whack, and I think we should throw it in the bin. I think we should exile it. I don't like it. So I think interfaith friendships work. I think that there's a lot to be learned from observing somebody else, a lot to be learned from, and there's a caveat, of course. Is the friend leading you down the right path? Let's put this caveat in there because I don't want this to get convoluted. Is the friend leading you down a right path? Is the friend not leading you down the way that leads to hell? The way that is self-destructive, the way that is blasphemous, the way that is ungodly? Okay, we don't do that. That's not good for anybody. I don't know any Muslim that also wants to get trashed and be immoral and immodest. I mean, there's probably many, but I'm just saying your friends are also a reflection of you. So yes, your friends should also have the fruits of the spirit: gentleness, kindness, patience, self-control, righteousness. But I don't think you should ice out people because they have a different religion or a different belief. That's just no. Check them for the spirits and use discernment And even if they even do not display some of these qualities, I think there's a lot to be learned by sitting down, dining with people who are different from you. There is a lot to be learned. Humans are valuable no matter where they come from, what they look like, and God created all of them no matter where they come from, what they look like. Adult friendships with the opposite sex. I think this is an interesting one because I'm married, and so I have a different perspective on that. And that is that, like, I'm not friends with like guys outside of my marriage. Like, if there's a friend that I had before I met Lucas, he becomes our friend. If there's a girlfriend that Lucas had before we got married, she becomes our friend. We all hang out together. I can hang out with her one-on-one if I want to. Like, we form our own friendships in it. But as a single person, adult friendships with the opposite sex it can be tricky. I really do think that you can have platonic male friends, but I think that they will try. I think that it is in their nature. It's in our nature too. I have definitely tried and been like, like, is this friendship, could it be something more? I've definitely been on the other end of that as well. And so I think there will come a point in time where that thought will cross your mind. Could this be something more? Is there something here? And then you assess the situation and you realize, oh, there's nothing there. And you move past it. Either you communicate or you actually just sit down and think about it and you're like, nah. But like, I think there will be a little bit of a pause. But if you can move forward with that and also guard your heart, and like, you're not overly dependent on this person, you're not like going on dates, because sometimes it's like, we're hanging out as like a boy and a guy, but like, could it be a date? I don't know. Like, I think keeping it into a group setting, I think that's what helps. If it's a group setting, if it's a hangout, you can definitely like call your guy friends on the phone and be like, hey, like, this is what I'm going through. Like, I need some advice on a guy's perspective. That always comes in handy. But I think, lean on your girls, sprinkle in some guys, see them occasionally, mostly in group setting, but you can still have them in your life. And I think that's my stance on it. Because I think too much dependency and too much hanging out can blur the lines a little bit. All right, we're going to switch over to Instagram. All right, we're on Instagram. Someone said, how do you navigate non-Christian friendships in a godly manner? I think I just touched on that. Opposite sex friendships, just touched on that. Where do you go to meet new people? And then someone else asked how to make friends in various spaces. So where you go to meet new people, I love, what do I do? I love signing up for like mailing lists. Like, if my local bookstore has a mailing list, I'll subscribe or I'll follow them. I love following my favorite establishments, restaurants, wine bars, Pilates studios, and then seeing what events they post about. Yeah, just finding little events and doing things solo. Always, because when you're alone, you are forced to talk to people. So going to a workout class alone, going to a pottery class alone, a dance class alone, poetry open mic, Friday night worship service, you're doing things at your church outside of a Sunday, volunteering. If your school's signing up for clubs, this is if you're in college, signing up for clubs. I made a lot of friends when I started going to my Bible study at UMass Amherst. Shout out Basic. So it was like a Bible college organization. Stands for Brothers and Sisters in Christ. Basic. I've always thought that name was phenomenal. Anyway, so yeah, do the extracurricular activities and do them alone and find events and things that are happening. I know some people don't live in a city, so I'm saying this, but maybe you live somewhere else and things like that don't go on. Then I would say just be be willing to drive to the city for these things. And you could even start your own. You know, who's to say? Start your own. Open up a space for people to connect. And when you are in these spaces, how do you make friends? And so what I would do is I see someone, I like their outfit. I go up to them, I'm like, I love your shoes. And let it be a genuine compliment. Let it be something that you actually have been admiring, you're thinking about, blah, blah, blah. Hey, I love your this. Or they're holding a book. They're holding a purse that you've been wanting. A book that you've been wanting to read. Or a book that you've read. Maybe you like their phone case. Maybe their shirt matches your bag. Point it out. I think the first step is to be open to making conversation with strangers. That is the first step to making friends, is being open to making conversations with strangers. If you don't know them from anywhere, how will you make a friend? A friend, it starts from zero, right? They could either come to you or you go to them, but there's no prior history. They have to start from somewhere. So if you avoid contact and communication and talking with people when you're in public, it might be hard for you. And if then you need to go into places where you will feel like you have in common with the people that are around you, so that you'd be more inclined to talk to them. And what I mean by this is, if you're very interested in poetry and you find out about a poetry thing that's going on in your neighborhood, I love apps like Eventbrite. I love Partyful, because they usually have events that are going on around. But I'm speaking from someone who lives in the city, so I'm sure they have it in all major cities though. But going to places that you know you will have fun at and that you'll have a lot in common with them. My littlest sister loves to go to this like animation, cartoon convention thing every summer. And she just sees like-minded people. They're all there for the same purpose. So go somewhere that you feel that you'll meet somebody that is, interested in the same things as you are, because you both naturally found yourselves there, and be willing to make conversations with strangers. And then it has to go beyond that first initial meeting. And so I think this is the second hump of making a friend that can be a little dicey, is how do we go from, okay, we met, we connected, then let's actually build something, schedule a hangout. Schedule hangouts and schedule them frequently. If they must be scheduled in your Google Calendar or your Apple Calendar so that you both know and it's written down and confirmed, then yes. Now you will come across the occasional person that just likes to flake on you. They like to cancel plans last minute. They like to switch up their mind. They don't know what they're doing. They don't actually want to see you. They only want to see you when it's convenient. That's not somebody that you want to be friends with. So make sure you're making plans. And while you're at that first hangout, talk about a second one. It's basically like getting into a relationship, right? Friendship is also a relationship. And so hit them up after your hangout, chat to them a little bit more, make plans or set intentions to see them again. Maybe they don't know when their schedule is going to open up next, but you'll check back in and do check back in and schedule the hangout. And the more you keep scheduling, the more you keep getting closer and closer. And if you see an event that you think is fun and you want to go, but you don't have, just send the flyer to a friend. Send the flyer to someone that you think will be interested and go together. Sometimes I think the puzzle of making plans can be too hard, because then you have to decide on a place to meet and a time and a thing. I think what's easier is if you already find an event. Oh, there's a wine tasting class going on here, or there's a writer's workshop. This sounds interesting. Who do I want to spend more time with and will enjoy this event with me? Oh, Robert. Okay, let me hit up Robert. I don't know why the name Robert is the one that came to mind, even though I just said don't hang out with men. Maybe it's a lady named Robert. So I love sending events to things that I want to go to, but it'd be fun to have somebody else with. Okay, send it to them, and go with them. And then you've already have your date, you already have your location. There's no wahala. You just meet up there. So I think friendship comes from a lot of time also. One thing I'm learning is that sometimes we want to jump straight into a friendship, and we meet someone and we click with them and they feel like a sister, and it's like, I want to like smother you with all this love. But you have so long. You have time to get to know them, time to develop trust, time to learn the way they communicate, time so that things don't shock you. You know what I mean? Because sometimes we jump into a friendship, we're expecting them to be perfect. And then they kind of let us down because we've projected all these ideologies into them and we don't even know them that well yet. So take time to get to know someone. Realize that it will take time. Friendship, if it's a good one, it's going to take time. It's going to take a long time of you guys showing up for each other, making plans with each other, checking up on each other, and your bond is just going to continue to grow and grow and grow. And there are some people that I look back and I'm like, wow, like we've just always had each other's back. And now I'm in a stage of life where I want to just keep you close forever. So it also takes time to identify those that are ride or dies, because they have to be with you through many seasons. And so let it develop. Give it time to cook. Let it cook. Let it cook. I hope that answered your question. Slow moments of connection, bonding, hanging out. And the more frequent it happens, the closer you get. And then boom, you're friends. How do you go about making friends intentionally rather than out of convenience? I think I touched on this one too, which is like making sure that you're setting time for them, time to be a friend, time to listen, time to accompany them somewhere, and they're doing the same for you, vice versa. That's intentional and not just like, I'll see you when I see you. That's convenience. Is the friendship one-sided if you're always initiating, or is that the nature of adult friendships? I think this is a very big one too, is like, what does initiation look like? I think, yes, I think it is one-sided if you're the only one always initiating. If they're canceling plans and not like giving you an alternative date, then yeah, that's a one-sided friendship. Like, oh, sorry, I can't make it. As opposed to, oh, I'm sorry, I can't make it. But like, what about Thursday at this time? Or could we make next week work? Or let me get back to you on a date that works better, And so if they're not making time for you and you're the one always trying to make time for them, I would sit back and see if they reach out and want to hang out, because sometimes they don't even want to hang out. They don't even want to hang out and we're forcing them to. So yeah, I do think, it's one-sided if you're always the one initiating. And I think if a guy or a romantic partner was treating us this way, where we're the ones always reaching out to talk to them, reaching out to see them, it would not feel okay. So I don't think that we should tolerate that in friendships as well. How do I confront my friend that I've already cut off, but at the same time she hasn't reached out? So why confront them if you've already cut them off? Then it just sounds like you are looking for an excuse to tell them that you've cut them off. If you've really cut them off, cut them off. Stand on it. And if they haven't reached out, then you know that they also, one, don't care, and two, they've noticed that they've been cut off and they don't really want to repair it. So stand on it and cut it off. I don't think there's any use in going back and saying, hey, this is this and this and this and this and this, so I'm cutting you off. I think when I approach a friend with something that they've done, it's to reconcile and it's to create a space for us to move forward. So if you don't want to move forward with this friendship, you don't think that this friendship is something that you want to move forward with, then I don't believe that there's any place for talking, unless you want to tell them that they did something wrong, which is like, okay, I did something wrong, but I'm not willing to forgive you, and so you're just not going to be in my life. I don't think that's a good message. So I think if you've cut them off, cut them off. If you want to repair it, then you can go and talk about it and revisit it. How do you deal with transition of graduating college and navigating friendships as you graduate? Yeah, my friendships have changed a lot since I was in college. I was seeing these people every single day, and now I haven't seen them in years. So the nature of the friendship will naturally change unless this is somebody that you don't want to let go of, You make sure you see them whenever you're back in town. You're calling them once every blue moon to catch up. You're keeping up with their lives. You have to identify like which friend or which friends you want to keep in your life and keep and put in this energy. And then you have to realize, okay, some of them will go away. They'll float into the air, but they'll always be a part of me. They'll always have me to talk to. I can always reach out to them if I want to, but it's okay if we don't talk for years and years and years. You mean a lot to me. You were a great friend at a time in my life. And I know that whenever I see you, you welcome me with open arms, and I will do the same. But they're just going to float into the ether. And that's okay. I feel like they'll just be like bubbles around you. And you're just looking like, oh, remember when? And remember when? And oh, I hope they're doing well. And that's when you be like, hey, I hope you're doing well. Yes, I'm doing well, blah, blah, blah. Then that's it. But they will change, and you can't be close to everybody, and that's okay. Okay, 2 more questions, and then we're done. How to not let envy or jealousy ruin the friendship. Jealousy and envy is a very interesting emotion. TikTok was in frenzy about this idea a couple months ago when a girl came on and said that she was very jealous of her friend. And it went into this whole thing of like, are they your friend if you are jealous? And can you feel jealousy in a friendship? Or if you feel jealous, you're automatically a hater and shouldn't be around them? I don't know, because for me, I have definitely been jealous of a friend. And I think when you are envious of a friend, it bleeds into a lot of things. It bleeds into how you treat them, how you show up for them. It ends up with you looking not so great, because it will show. You think you're doing a good job of hiding it, it will show. So I think you need to confront what is it you're jealous about. Sit with yourself, think about it, and reflect it back on you and say, how can I fix this insecurity? How can I fix this thing that I'm projecting onto her? Because it all has to do with you. So if you feel jealousy or envy, you need to sit with yourself. It's nothing they are doing. It's you. So sit with yourself and say, why do I feel this way about somebody that I want to be close with? You know? And 2 things can come out of it. You can confront it, and you can okay, wow, I'm jealous because like they got their masters and I didn't. Okay, I'm feeling a little bit of a lack in like worth or value because like they got their masters and I didn't. So I'm going to be jealous. No. You can turn that into, what can I do to feel proud of myself, to feel successful? What is something that I've been ignoring? Because a lot of times too, jealousy is like a wasted emotion, you know? There's something that you want to do. There's a way that you want to look. There's a way that you want to feel. There's a way that you want to maybe behave, or there's something that you want that this person also has. And you're finding it hard to find it within yourself. And so you're turning that into like animosity towards them. You need to cultivate whatever it is that you're lacking within yourself. That is the only way the friendship can move forward. If you cannot find a way to sit with yourself and be self-aware and say, what is it that I'm projecting onto them? What are these negative feelings that I have towards a friend? And what does that say about me? And how can I move past this? How can I reaffirm myself, turn my energy into something else, turn my energy into something that will be productive and lead me to the highest version of myself that I foresee myself, align myself with God's purpose for me and my path and my direction, so that I'm not feeling envious of somebody else. If you cannot do that, you should not be around them. That's my personal opinion. Last question, and this is a really, really good question. When I got this question, I was like, wow, I'm so glad somebody asked this question. Navigating friendship groups, different stages, and wanting to prioritize certain individuals over others. This is very, very real, especially when I've been in a big friendship group before, and actually I've been in multiple friendship groups actually. And I'm in one currently. And it's a really, really fun thing because everyone gets along, everyone loves each other. But you realize that, okay, like I click with one a little bit more. I have more in common with this one. Like maybe Chelsea and I love fashion and love going to, you know, sample sales. But Rosie and we can bond over Justin Bieber and we can, talk about music and hip hop and things like that. So you will find different people in the group where you at least have some sort of value, right? That's why you gravitate towards them. You have something in common. So you're not going to always relate to everybody in the friendship group the same way. And each one is not going to look the exact same. It just depends on lifestyle. Maybe one friend loves to go to Pilates and so do you. You'll find yourself going to Pilates with them a lot more than the friend that only wants to go out when it comes to brunch or something like that. Maybe there's a friend who has a different working schedule than you and these other people. So you can meet up when they're at work and there's just like I think one understanding is that you have to make friends with each individual person in a friend group. I think friend groups can be a little bit chaotic and a little bit messy when you don't get along with somebody in there. And so oftentimes we like meet people and maybe they've established friendships and we want to be part of the group. And I saw a creator say this and I forget her username, but she said something like, you have to earn the friendship of everybody in the group to be included in these group things, So no matter what the friendships look like, you can't just ignore some people and like think that it's going to be like a healthy, fun friend group. You have to understand that each friendship will look differently, but there will be commitment and intentionality with you and every single person one-on-one. One-on-one. And if you just like one person in a friendship group, then just hang out with that one person alone, side by side. You don't need to be at these group activities. But if you're going to be in these group activities and you want to be going in groups and be doing girl group, then you need to be friends individually, one-on-one, and establish a friendship and extend yourself as well. Don't like just expect that they will just like all come flocking to you and like it's just going to be like this seamless thing where everybody's going to want to be friends right away. No, you're going to have to extend some time and commitment to make sure that you have at least some sort of friendship with each and every one of them, even though it will look different. It's okay to look different. I think that's another major thing that we have to understand, that it's okay to look different. If you force friendship with somebody to be like BFFs in a group, even though you click with somebody else more, just go towards who you naturally click with, who you get along with, and you are both interested in forming a friendship. And it doesn't have to be every single person in there, even though, yeah, we can meet up and we can do things and have fun together, but not everyone in there has to be like the person that you're calling. I don't know. I hope I'm saying this right, because I'm like, it's hard for me to navigate too. It's very hard for me to navigate, and it's been hard for me to navigate my whole life. And I think I'm making progress, but it's a really tricky thing. And so I think we're all just learning and growing, and it's okay if you mess up, If somebody in the friendship group is really interested in being your friend, you will know. And if you are interested in being closer to somebody, make it known. Don't wait for group hangouts. Try to hang out. Try to make time for them as well. And they will all be in different stages. Some will know some longer than other, and some will be new. It's just take it as it is and know that you have time to create these bonds. We're not in a rush to go anywhere. And so as long as you see that, okay, this is going to be something that's going to last a while, it's okay to slow down. Slow down. You don't have to be hanging out every single week. Slow down and nurture the friendship like a little garden. Let it grow little by little with water over time, instead of trying to like rush and be like the super best buds with like everybody, I hope that was helpful. It has been great chatting to you about friendship. let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, because I would love to know how you guys also deal with this, your perspective on this. I'm inviting conversation, so I'm not going to get mad if you share your thoughts. I'm inviting open conversation. So yeah, let me know how you like this. Don't forget to subscribe to WTTK Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify Podcasts or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. And please leave a review. There's been so many reviews on there and I love them, but they're from years ago. So if I could get some new reviews and telling me how you think about this new season in the form of a review or a comment, I would really appreciate it, especially in the form of a review, because that's what sends the podcast out into the algorithm for more people to discover us. All right. I love you. I do. I'll see you later. Bye.